It's so fucking crazy. Anyways, I was doing some research after making that long ass video about like the pedophile and stuff like that. And so I was looking up information in the Napa Valley Register, and this city is just so fucked up that my hometown of Napa is just absolutely insane. And there was a news article in the Napa Valley Register, I guess from 2011, of Lonnie Glass, who was the pedophile that I shared a bed with when I was a little kid, and it was like fucking other boys in the congregation. He never got disfellowshipped for pedophilia. He got disfellowshipped, I believe, for drugs, for like cocaine or something stupid. And so I don't think he's a registered sex offender. And he's like walking around town and getting praise inside the Napa Valley Register about his dog, apparently. I'm going to put links in my description. And I'm also going to put links of the Viegas thing in my description too. Apparently, it's been worked on by the Silent Lambs people, so this has already been well known. But I'm just want to talk about like the open communication about pedophilia in the Jehovah's Witness faith, and just how like normalized it is inside. And this comes from the cult mindset of Jehovah will take care of it, and you'll hear every witness use that on a regular basis, where they just completely avoid any kind of responsibility, and Jehovah will take care of it. And that's literally what they think. And so that's why there's such a huge problem with this, is because people don't want to take responsibility. And I just want to talk about like just the basic stuff that Lonnie did. It was very clear from, I'm an adult man now, but as a 9-year-old boy, I don't see these kind of things, but the clear grooming was there. And anybody with half a brain should have recognized the signs. I told you in my other story about how he had it in his apartment, where he would bring young boys to his apartment and we'd sleep over with them. And we'd like 2, 3 of us at a time some days, sometimes one at a time. And I remember watching like, rated R movies and sexual those movies. That's totally grooming, young people, to be stimulated in some way, and to, in things like that. And he was always like talking about buying like pets and RC cars. And then eventually when some of the boys got older, he was having like dirt bikes in the back of his truck, and he'd pull up in the Kingdom Hall parking lot, and like all the young boys would come out, be like, oh my God, look at all this stuff. And I just remember my mom talking about Viegas. Sorry, I jumped subject, but she just like casually talk. I know my mom's a fossil and she's old, and so that is that generation where they kind of used to make like excuses for this stuff, and like the idea of, I don't know, just things being inappropriate. It just didn't exist in that generation. Like she would just say, well, men, like, a lot of men like younger women and things like that, and just like casually talk about. I remember some women that were in the congregation, and as a boy going like, Mom, why are they so weird? Because they were like quiet and like all shell shocked, and and like just fucked up from being molested so much as a girl. And my mom would just casually, oh, she was molested by Viegas, and that's why she has some problems now. And like it was just like casual talk about this kind of stuff. And it's absolutely insane, because it's just like nothing matters inside the Kingdom Hall, because Jehovah will take care of it. And the idea of just like sidestepping any kind of personal responsibility. And I think that's why a lot of witnesses after they leave have a hard time, accepting responsibility for their own lives, and they don't really know how to make decisions for themselves. And so people aren't reading like self-help books and how to guide their lives in bettering themselves. They just, stagnate until somebody tells them what to do. And it's crazy to me. And I mean, this wasn't, I mean, I was investigated for pedophilia multiple times in my life. I was also asked about another one. It would never happen to me, and I wasn't familiar with any of the activity. But he ended up going to prison for 7 years. And, and then when I was in Tennessee, they had pedophilia issues with that guy. And although every time pedophilia involved my life, the authorities were somehow contacted. Granted, Viegas was an elder, and I'm thinking he molested up to like 20 girls. It wasn't like some small problem. It was just Napa was a real fucked up city, and it just had a lot of weird drama. One of the larger Ponzi schemes of laundering money was done by a sister in Napa, and one of the largest marijuana busts was. He wasn't a witness, but his father was an elder and in the Napa congregation. What is their name? They own a glass company, I think American Glass. I forgot their names. And then there was that other weird, creepy dude, and like he was like a Bethelite that came back, and he was screwing some 14-year-old girl, and I don't know. It's just like Napa was like that, and it wasn't that big of a deal there. And it was just so openly talked about. And now, you have the Napa Valley Register, bragging about this pedophile walking the streets because he got a dog or something. I don't know if he's homeless or not. He looks like shit, so he's probably has been on drugs for a while. But the guy I'm putting in the description. He was a ministerial servant in the congregation, and like everyone was like, "Oh, Lonnie's so great. He's always so nice to the kids, and he's such a good, encouraging brother." And he had a terrible childhood, and so he's trying to help, young ones. And it was just like, well, he got baptized, and the providing overseer was the person who studied with them, and so he just got like all this special treatment. And I just remember like everyone saying he was like the greatest thing ever. And it was clear grooming. Anybody that has done any kind of basic reading about pedophiles and what they do and how they groom families, groom parents, in this case, grooming elder bodies in a whole congregation. And it is crazy about that town and just like how normal it was. And just like remembering my mother just talking about it, like it wasn't that big of a deal, you know. And in all honesty, in Jehovah's Witness faith, nothing's that big of a deal because Jehovah will take care of it, right? My thoughts.